Put it down now!
You stumble into the driveway expecting an assessment, but instead you walk into a battle of incentives, psychology, and survival. "Put it down now," the officers yelled. "What you mean, what's in my hand?" The man fired back, scared, cornered, unheard. This wasn't a scripted thriller, it was real life on Ernestine Street, where one decision, one refusal, one moment of instability changed everything. A father in crisis, a neighborhood in fear, and a system engineered to move fast but not bend when it matters. This is the story of Akintunde Kunde Campbell, a 38-year-old father fatally shot after pulling a loaded handgun and refusing commands. The world saw the gun, but the street and the family saw the heartbreak. This is the hidden resonance between chaos and force, between a human in pain and a process with no flexibility. You're about to hear what the cameras captured, what the people felt, and the brutal truth the system never advertised. Rochester, New York became the stage, but the defect was bigger than the city. This is the moment where survival met paperwork, and paperwork didn't blink first. On July 31st, 2021, dispatchers at 911 in Rochester Police Department began receiving calls about a man wandering door to door in the city's 19th ward. The first call described him as a suspicious male walking under a backyard deck, checking porches, rattling car doors, and behaving erratically. Residents had a consistent description: dark hoodie, pacing with intensity, unpredictable, and clearly unwell. Officers were dispatched to Ernestine Street at approximately 5:20 p.m., where additional calls followed about the same man attempting to enter an occupied vehicle in a driveway and even climbing onto a parked car's hood. The sun had barely set, but this neighborhood was already on edge. Two officers of Rochester Police Locust Club members later backed these same officers, but the national attention would land on this moment. At 7:36 p.m., body-worn cameras from Rochester Police Department captured the final confrontation. The first 30 seconds of footage had no audio, but the visuals show a deputy grabbing the suspect from behind in a driveway. The officers struggled to restrain him. Then in a blur, the suspect reached into his hoodie pocket and pulled a handgun. The officer stumbled backwards. The audio activated. The officers yelled commands with urgency.
Put it down! Put it down now! Put it down! Put it down now!
The suspect refused. Instead, he responded, defiant and agitated.
What is in your hand? What you mean, what's in my hand? What's in your hand?
And that's when shots were fired. Nearly a dozen rounds struck the man, later identified as 38-year-old Akintunde Campbell. Officers continued shouting commands even after the initial volley. "Put the gun down now!"
Put the gun down! Put the gun down now!
One officer radioed for emergency medical response. Additional officers arrived. At 7:39 p.m., the footage shows Campbell on the ground, the loaded gun beside him. Medical aid was administered, handcuffs were secured, and within moments, EMS pronounced him dead at the scene. The cameras stopped rolling, but the story was only beginning. The victim's full name was not a complicated puzzle. He was Akintunde, pronounced Akintunde, a man from Rochester, New York, a father, a brother, and a son. The press mispronounced his name in the first 24 hours. Everyone corrected it afterwards. His hoodie pocket carried a handgun that night, but his mother says his heart was carrying pain long before that weapon ever touched his hand. Criticism erupted. Three leaders of Mary Lupian, Kim Smith, and Stanley Martin released a public statement condemning the speed and use of force. They questioned de-escalation. They questioned motive. Lupian said the community was in shock by how fast it escalated. Smith emphasized mental health. Martin raised systemic issues. Their words traveled faster than the Genesee River. "We are forgetting the human cost," Lupian said. "It is horrific." At the same time, the officers were not unknown soldiers. They were members of the 800-strong Locust Club, which immediately issued a statement defending the officers. Their position was clear. Leadership had failed, not the officers. According to them, the officers did not escalate the encounter. They responded to a call for help, to a citizen in crisis, and the individual dictated the outcome through his own actions. The statement used three key words: professional, courageous, and volatile. The West heard the professional part, but the neighborhood witnessed the volatility part. Campbell's family didn't stay silent either. Donald Byrd, another father seen in many viral hearings, once said, "He wasn't crazy when he killed my son, but he crazy now?" That same type of anguish flowed here. Campbell's mother didn't throw punches, but her words hit like hammers. The family claimed this was a mental health crisis, but the union argued something else. He was not a victim of untrained officers. He was a victim of untrained systems. He was a victim of gaps in response between law enforcement and crisis professionals. The confrontation was a collision between human instability and aerodynamic procedure. It was engineering arrogance, but in flesh, blood, and civic duty. Aiken Tunde Campbell, before his final moments, had a history that most neighbors only discovered after his death. He was known to friends as Kunde. He loved rap battles. He was sharp with words, funny, charismatic, a man who could make a room laugh. But parfois, the jury of social media sees only 60-second clips. We were not there for the 763 North Horton Avenue apartment search. We were not there for the hours of Blue Star chemical testing. We were not there when officers reported how clean the carpet was. We only arrived when they said 223 shots fired.
223 shots fired.
Put the gun down!
Put the gun down now!
223, you're on 2, go live.
Shots fired. Male down with a gun.
Tacoma Narrows taught us resonance and flutter. Rome taught us longevity through cracks. Japan taught us flexibility instead of rigidity. China taught modular speed. The West taught platinum slogans, but not pedestrian resilience. So what happens when the West meets real-life Rambo? It fractures code and forgets physics. The legal investigation was opened by Office of the New York State Attorney General and specifically handled by the Office of Special Investigations. Rochester Police Department Kunde's last words may not have been calm, but the truth they left behind should sober us all. Resilience, fairness, justice. Those words mean nothing if they're only activated after disaster strikes. The cameras did their job, the officers did their training, but the system failed the real test. Humility and de-escalation before bullets become the only language left. If you've ever felt unheard, shortchanged, trapped by process, surveilled by incentives, or dictated by someone else's bottom line, then you already understand the core defect we explored today. Knowledge is your base isolation, preparation is your thin joint, and vigilance is your strongest timber joinery. Don't wait for lockdown to fix what conversation could have solved. Keep asking questions, keep documenting truth, keep challenging arrogance, and never underestimate the human cost behind a headline. If this story moved you, shook you, or made you think, then don't walk away now. Join the mission to understand the systems that fail us so we can survive them before they ever get the chance to fire back.